Hello, students. Today we are going to recite and analyze the poem She Walks in Beauty by George Gordon Byron. Before we start with the poem, I will give you a brief introduction about the poet and poem. George Gordon Byron, known simply as Lord Byron, was a famous English romantic poet and also a satirist. He attended number of schools including the famous public school Harrow and then went to Trinity College, Cambridge. At the age of 21, he started a tour of Europe and the Orient, after which he composed Childe Harold Pilgrimage, which made him immensely popular in England. Now, about the poem She Walks in Beauty. It is a short lyrical poem celebrating female beauty. The poet describes an unnamed woman who is exceptionally striking. The poem describes not only her external appearance but also her inner goodness, which makes her so captivatingly attractive. Byron compares her to the night sky, describing her serene and perfect beauty. Let's start with the poem. First stanza. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. Climes here means climate. And all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect of her eyes, means her features. Thus mellowed to that tender light, mellowed, made smooth and soft, which heaven to gaudy day denies. Gaudy here means bright and showy. So, we come to know here that the poet describes a woman who walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. Immediately, the light of stars and the shadow of night are brought forth as contrasts here. Foreshadowing the further contrast, the poet notices regarding this beautiful woman. Seeing her eyes, he declares that in her face all that's best of the dark and bright are joined. Her beauty is contrasted to the gaudy daylight. The second stanza. One shade the more, one ray the less, and half impaired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress. Raven, a large bird of crow family with shiny black feathers. Here you can say he is comparing, here he is describing the beauty of that woman, means the hair here you can say. Or then next, or softly lightens over her face, means the hair lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. In the second stanza, the poet reflects on the balance in woman's beauty. One shade the more, one ray the less, would hinder the nameless grace which surrounds her. He then turns to her inner life, seeing her external beauty as an expression of thoughts that dwell in a place, perhaps her mind or her beautiful head and face, both pure and dear, he wants to say. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent. A mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. In the final stanza, he returns to her face, but again sees the silent expression of peace and calm in her cheek, brow, and smiles. Here, her present facial expressions eloquently but innocently express her inner goodness and peacefulness, the poet wants to say. Student, if you see the poem here, you will come to know that this poem is written in iambic tetrameter, a meter commonly found in hymns and associated with sincerity and simplicity. Byron's chosen meter conveys to the reader both his purity of intent. There is but one subject for this poem, the lady's virtuous beauty he wants to convey. And the poetic parallel to this subject, the lady's beauty arises from her purity and simplicity of nature. It is an astonishingly chaste poem given its author's reputation. Byron wrote this poem about Mrs. Wilmot, his cousin Robert Wilmot's wife. It echoes Wordsworth's earlier The Solitary Reaper. It is its conceit. The speaker awe upon seeing a woman walking in her own aura of beauty. While ostensibly about a specific woman, the woman extends to encompass unobtainable and ideal. The lady is not beautiful in herself, but she walks in an aura of beauty. In contrast to popular conceptions, her beauty is not easily described as brilliant or radiant, but it is also dark like the night. In the line 1, you can come to know this. However, all that's best of dark and bright, the line 3, meet in her face and eyes, suggesting that while she walks in a dark beauty, she is herself a brighter, more radiant beauty. To further explain the image, the woman is described as having raven tresses. See in the second stanza, raven tress, it means black hair, that is line 9. Connecting her to the darkness, while the nameless grace, line 8, lightens her face. Possibly a play on the word, meaning the grace alights on her face, but also including the brighter aspect of lightening her countenance. Indeed, the beauty of Wilmot is found largely in its balance of opposite. The darkness she walks in and her dark hair counterpoise her face, skin, and the bright pureness of her soul, which is expressed here in the third stanza. In this lady, the tender light is mellowed in contrast to the gaudy day in the first stanza, which has only the glaring sun and no shade to soften its radiance. Thus, the lady's simple inner perfection produces a beauty superior to her nature itself. This grace is nameless in that is ineffable. It is a common idea to say that there is no way for human word or verse to encompass it. So it must remain nameless even as the speaker perceives it clearly. Prose cannot come close to a description of this abstract beauty of woman, so the speaker must attempt in it words. These issues raise a concern that a woman seems to be pure because she is so simple. She wears her thoughts directly on her face. She shows no evidence of discrimination of her better from worse. Her mind is at peace with all below. Her mind is at peace with all below, line 17, and she loves innocently. If she is beautiful like the night, perhaps her mind truly is like a sky, without any clouds of trouble or confusion. In contrast, she has been able to spend her days in goodness, the tints in her face glowing like stars in the sky, small punctuations in a vast emptiness above. In any case, in this woman, dark and light are reconciled. This reconciliation made possible by the main sources of lady's beauty, which is expressed in the first and second stanza. Her mind at peace with all below, and her heart whose love is innocent. Line 18. By possessing a genial mind and innocent heart, the lady can bring the beauty of both darkness and light out together without contradiction. Her purity softens the agents of her contrast. I hope you have understood this. Now students, the figure of speech. Now the first line, she walks in beauty like the night. Here we come to know the beauty. She walks in beauty like the night. Here the comparison is made between the beauty and night here. So the Figure of speech used here is simile. In the third line of first stanza, and all that's best of dark and bright. Here you will come to know two opposite words, dark and bright, are used in same line. So the figure of speech here will be antithesis. And in the second line itself, student, of cloudless climes and starry skies, you come to know that the letter C is repeated in the line and also the letter S is repeated in the line for better poetic effect. So the figure of speech here will be alliteration. Now we will see the rhyme scheme of the poem. Now here we also come to know that she walks in beauty like the night. Means here the human quality of walking is given to the night. So the figure of speech in the first line will also be personification. After that we'll see the rhyme scheme now. Night A, skies B, bright A, eyes B, light A, and denies B. So here the rhyme scheme of the poem is AB, AB, and AB. Like that only, if the second stanza, if you see, less A, grace B, tress A, face B, express A, place B. So again the rhyme scheme of the second stanza is AB, AB, and AB. I hope you have understood the poem. Thank you.